In this video, my brother and I race each other to beat every single non-hard mode boss in Terraria, while item drops are completely randomized, meaning any mob can drop any item. This challenge was crazy. 3, 2, 1, go. As soon as the race began, I immediately started looking for a mob to get its drop. Luckily, I found a slime which dropped my first item, a gangsta hat. Off to a good start, I guess. My next item was a bit more fortunate, however, because I got a meatball, which is a pretty decent starting item. Now with the weapon, I kept looking for more mobs to get more drops. While in the desert, I found a cutlass, which is a pretty good sword since it does 51 damage. This sword shreds basic enemies. I thought things were going pretty good until my brother joined the call and said this.
Gary, I just got cosmic car keys and a flower pow.
What? What do you mean? Oh my god.
Cosmic car keys is the best mount in the game, and flower pow is a thing that you get from killing the Plantera.
Even though Mark was doing better than me, I was still determined, and I just got a set of wings, so things are looking up. While walking around in the corruption, I found forbidden treads, which is a piece of armor that has 8 defense, so it was my first decent piece of protection. After wandering around for a while, Mark came to me and said this.
Gary, I beat the eye. I also got nebula leggings.
What the hell? Mark had already beaten the Eye of Cthulhu, which is one of the bosses. He had insane gear, while the best thing I had was a candle. So I kept searching for more loot because so far, half my armor was wooden. I managed to get a warrior emblem, which gives me plus 15% melee damage, which is very helpful since I'm currently prioritizing melee attacks. And for the next while, I went collecting fallen stars so I could get my mana up so I can use mana weapons. Then I found my first mount, which is a slime saddle that made me jump. I also found a bee gun, which is going to be one of my primary weapons for a while. When it finally became daytime, I found a philosopher's stone which reduces the cooldown of potions. I ended up using this thing for the rest of the challenge. Shortly after, I got the influx waver, which is an amazing sword that does 126 damage and shoots projectiles. Then I got a reindeer mount, which allows me to fly even higher than my wings. Later when caving, I finally found a light pet which would light up the dark caves for me. Then I blew up. This was around the time Mark was beating the Queen Bee and Skeletron, so I headed to the dungeon. When it finally became nighttime, I immediately spawned in Skeletron. With a decent 21 defense and a great melee weapon, I felt confident, and to no surprise, I defeated him fairly easily. Although this was a step in the right direction, I was still behind. Mark had beaten 3 bosses while I have only beaten 1, and Mark had better loot than me. For example, Mark had a vortex pickaxe, which is one of the best ones in the game, and I still had a copper one, which is the worst one in the game. I knew I had to catch up, so I went down to the corruption to fight the Eater of Worlds. I didn't have a strong enough pickaxe to dig down to the spawners, so I just used bombs instead. While in the corruption, I got these little fellas as a summon, which I found out are actually kind of insane. Using bombs and a wooden hammer, I broke these 3 spawners one by one and began my fight with the Eater of Worlds. I decided to try out my new bow called the Aerial Bane on this guy, and the bow is insane. I defeated this guy with absolute ease. This bow is something I'm gonna have to hold on to for sure. Right after the fight, Mark joined the call and told me that he had just defeated the Eater of Worlds as well, meaning I'm still behind. But Mark said that he was having troubles with trying to find the slime crown to spawn King Slime, his second to last boss, meaning I still had time to bounce back. I found a Shroomlight breastplate which gave me a whopping 24 defense, so my armor was getting better and better. After this, me and my men decided to travel down to Hell to get more drops because a lot of mobs spawned there. On my way to Hell, I finally found a suspicious looking eye, meaning I could spawn the Eye of Cthulhu. The eye literally took a couple seconds. This bow is insane. Now all I needed to do was defeat the King Slime, then the Queen Bee, and Wall of Flesh. But getting the slime crown is not going to be easy. A blood moon rose, meaning I could get a lot of drops to try to get the slime crown. I thought I wasn't going to get anything good from the blood moon until I got a couple treasure bags that gave me the last prism, which is probably the best mana weapon in the game. I completely forgot about the Queen Bee, so I'm gonna go do that now, which of course took like 10 seconds. I then started breaking the beehive itself because when I break a hive block, bees come out of it, meaning I could get loads of random drops to try to get the slime crown. This is where the real hard part begins, finding the slime crown. This is ironic because the King Slime is basically the easiest boss in the game, but both of us are having a ton of trouble looking for the boss summon. I can craft a slime crown with gold, ruby, and slime, but mining for the ores is going to take even longer than me just waiting until a random mob drops it. So that was my plan. I decided to give mining a shot anyways because I was not having any luck on the surface. I dug so far down that I eventually reached hell, but then this happened.
Oh my god. I spawned wall of flesh.
I decided to not fight the wall of flesh because I haven't beaten the King Slime yet, so I just went back to the surface. And after mining for around an hour with no luck, a goblin army spawned. Meaning I have an opportunity to get tons of drops, and when I see a ton, I mean it. And then I finally got it. Let me show you my live reaction because I was a bit excited.
So you could just like post clips, like horizontal clips. Slime crown! Goblin army, goblin army, goblin army's OP. There's like loot all over the ground. I got a slime crown. Slime time, it's slime time, it's slime time.
And now it was finally wall of flesh time, so I headed down to hell. I then remembered that I needed the guy to respawn first in order to get another voodoo doll because I've already spawned the wall of flesh earlier by accident. Then, after building 4 floors of NPC housing, I finally got the guide bag. Time to throw him into lava. And the fight began. And ended in a couple seconds, of course. So there you have it. I did it. I won the challenge. Still got room for part 2 though, you know, if you like the video, like, we could get a part 2. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, you should consider subscribing or liking the video. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out a ton. And a like for part 2. And this entire time, I still had my candle.